Well, great morning, great afternoon, great night, depending on where you're at, right? Because we're on Facebook Live. Um, so last week for me was like a introduction of the new season, which we're in the fourth season, I do believe. And thank you for tuning in to the Sofa Real Talk, where we talk about hard hitting conversations. And I am the host, Mr. Leron, Mr. Takeover, as a title that me and the missus have acquired here recently. Um, just to introduce myself a little bit more, I am on a journey of trying to empower men, especially, but definitely the community of color. Um, just trying to bring a narrative change to how we navigate through life and the things that we're doing, the things that we're not doing. Holding myself accountable, not only the community as well. Um, so this season is kind of hard for me and very special. I do believe it's going to cause me to cry, um, make me angry in some sort. But I definitely have to try and keep my composure because some of these topics that we're going to be talking about this season is very close to my heart now more than anything. And we have a guest on that we're going to talk about her book or whatnot, which I am going to bring her up now. Oh, hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Awesome. I'm so happy that I was able to catch you, which, again, we both left Saturday without me sending your that cash out for the book. So, are you going to be in town anytime soon?
You know what? I just been in town the last 2 days. I've been in Albany. I'll probably be back next week.
I'm still gonna send it to you when you come back. You just hit me up and I'll pick it up from you.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. So I was just basically explaining how this season for me is really going to be hard. You know how you ask and you pray for stuff and it falls in your
Hmm.
lap and it's deeper than what you thought.
Right.
That's pretty much what's going on with me in this season. Because I wanted to really figure out who I was as a colored person. Not
Hmm.
strictly a black person, because I really feel like titles for so long has held us down.
True.
And I think black, colored, all of that is one of those things because it really separated us from who our ancestors were. And
Right.
so, yeah, I was just explaining at the very beginning of the show, but this is not what this show is about. I have Miss
But
Push.
hold on, we wait. We can't move past that statement. We
Oh,
we
okay.
can't.
Well, hey, yes,
We
ma'am.
can't.
Okay.
We can't because you just said something powerful. So number one, the first thing you just said is you wanted to realize who you were.
Uh huh.
And so that is so important that people need to step back and say, who am I?
Mm,
You know, and whether you are a mom, a husband, a wife, a child, you have to ask yourself, who am I? And the moment that you decide that you want to know who you are, it allows God, it opens the door to learning, to going to that next level. So I love the fact that you just said, you know what, I want to step back and say, who am I? I
yeah.
love that. Like, that is powerful. And more people need to do that, because until they get to that point, they can't deal with past hurts, past pains, and
Mm.
past trauma. So that is something so powerful. You said, so we just can't move past that. We can't. But then I'm about to get you. I gotta get you though, because our words are powerful. So we are no longer gonna say words like hard. We're gonna
Yes.
say it's challenging, because
Okay.
we have to learn how to trust the process. We gotta learn how to dance in the rain, because life is gonna happen. Things are gonna happen to us that are out of our control. So we're gonna have to learn how to dance in the rain. So we're gonna change our words,
Mm.
because we know you just said, in this season, this is what you want. So since this is what you want, God's going to give it to you. He's going to provide, but it's not always going to look like how we feel like it should look. So we have to learn how to trust the process. We got to learn how to dance in the rain, because life is going to happen. Things are going to happen to us that are out of our control. So we're going to have to learn how to dance in the rain. So we're going to change our words, because we know you just said, this is what you want. God is going to give it to you. He's going to provide, but it's not always going to look like how we feel like it should look.
Yes,
So we got to learn how to trust the process. And one thing with trusting the process is our mouth, our tongue, and our words.
you're right. You're so
Yeah.
right. And another thing that you're totally right about is that something that I've said to my wife a couple of times here recently about you definitely have to be careful what you ask for.
Definitely.
Um, we're
Might
we're
mess around and get
the sometimes we ask for something without the intentions of what we're getting only because we are not asking for it correctly.
it. Mm-hmm.
And the
Right.
universe hears us asking for it, and so it just lays it there, regardless of, like you were just stating, if we consider it being hard or whatnot, it is still something that we ask for. And just taking that step back to understand, I did ask for this car, even though it was a lemon. I was specific on what I was asking for. I did
Right.
get a new car, but the crap don't work. And so I've really been like, I want to say this past year, that's how my life has been rolling. I've been understanding that, dang, I did ask for this. Uh, Dang, I gotta start wording my words right, basically. And this season here, like I stated, and you corrected me, it's very challenging because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And being here in the United States is very unfair with the description of who people are.
Mm-hmm.
Something that me and my wife talked about here recently also was not having a split on colors when it comes to other countries. If you were born in Africa, you were African, regardless of how your outer skin looks. If you
Right.
were born in England, you were British, Asian. Asia, you're an Asian person, but the United States has to have titles
Specifically.
and separations, and there's a mechanic for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing about it is our community falls victim to it. I don't think
Definitely.
purposely, well, I don't think like forcefully now more than purposely, as in we've just been so we've gotten used to it.
Right. And it comes from conditioning.
Yes.
So you you may not know that, I used to be a correction officer.
Okay.
So that was my first real job. And I tell people, boy, working in a prison is a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world. And literally that's where I got the vision, where God gave me the vision for my book, why I worked at the prison. Because it was amazing to me. It was just crazy. I'll come to work and we have to keep dormitory count. And
Okay.
all it says is black and white. There's no other, there's nothing. It's just black and white. You have to keep dormitory count.
One of Mexicans and
Yo,
other.
yep. And guess what? They fall under white. So they say they're classified as whatever your mother is, that's your race.
Wow.
So yes. So I would come inside of a dorm and it's 192 males, and I would see 20 I see 22, white, and the rest be black. I was like, golly. And then I go on the floor and I was like, but he's Hispanic, he's German. You see what I'm saying? But so all of them are classified as, they just put them as white, so they can have their numbers up. It's a numbers game. And it was just dumbfounding me that it's this many incarcerated black males. And I remember it clear as day. I was top range G building. I had only been working for like 3 months. I looked like a little baby. It was hot in there and I was sweating. I was sweating hard, and I was packing property all week long. And I started, I'm doing inventory of their property, and I quickly realized they didn't have anything positive inside the prison system besides the Bible and the Quran. That's about it. And they didn't have anything
And
to,
not to cut you off, but definitely I hit you with that. Why is that?
it's conditioning. So it's conditioning. If I can condition you, just how schools are conditioning our kids who are out and who are free, they're conditioning them for certain things. Prison is about making money. So they conditioning them to, even if I release you, it's catch and release. Even if I release you, I need you to come back because I need to fill this bed. I need to make money. That's
Wow.
why private organizations who are starting to fund and invest in prison systems, they can sue the government for not having enough people to fill their beds. So, for example, that's why you see minor Georgia. We in GA. I love GA. I'm down South Georgia girl, but Georgia is one of the worst. They are one of the worst. They have one of the worst prison systems because of the fact they do a lot of private corporations, and they have to be funded. They have to be funded. So that's why you keep seeing all these younger males and females, because now you can tell they're starting to target females, catch
Yeah.
all these minor charges. Because if I can catch and release you on these minor charges, the hope
You
is
eventually
that
may
you'll
come
do
back.
something big, you'll do something bigger, or I can put you on probation and then you'll
That's money.
reoffend, and then I can send you to the big prison. So now I can fulfill that contract that I have with that private organization. Now they
Wow.
can't sue me. So it's all about conditioning. That's why there's nothing positive. I have met some of the smartest people in this universe behind those four walls. So I said back then, I was like, man, I wish I had something positive for you guys, that can get your mind. I'm like, what you gonna do when you get out of here? What you gonna do? And they're like, I don't know. No, you need to hurry and decide. You got 6 months. And they have programs that they have to go through. But to me, when I saw the programs that they had, I feel like they weren't. I'm just gonna be honest, they're not good enough. They don't deal with the trauma. They don't deal with the hurt. They don't deal with the pain.
Okay.
They talk about certain issues, but I feel like it's too broad. You really got to dive deep and really have hard discussions if you don't want someone to come back. And then you got to set them up for success. There, back in the day, they used to, you can leave prison with a trade.
Okay.
Now you can't.
They
There's a,
stopped doing that.
it's only a few prisons that still offer trades, and the trades are very small, like barbershops, trade, working in laundry, kitchen, things of that nature. But you used to could get your GED, just different programs. A lot of stuff they did away with due to funding, due to shorter staff. It's different reasons for it, but are you really being effective? Is the
Yeah.
question.
Huh. Well, now that's a good segue into what the title of the show is about, and definitely fits in with your book as well, which we definitely going to talk about. But do we seriously know what being a father is? And you hear so many stories about what it's supposed to be, what it is, and what it has to be. And I have like three questions. My first one is pretty much basically what I said. Do we really know what it means to be a father? Now, do you come, if you don't mind me asking, come from a two-parent home or one?
So I come from a two-parent home, but my situation is very different. I'm blessed enough. I have two daddies.
Okay.
I I have two daddies. I grew up in a household with my mom and my dad, but later on finding out that the person I called dad was not my biological father.
Okay.
And then I was introduced to
How did that? The wait, hold on. I lost you. Audio. Can't hear you.
just try to.
There you go.
It's breaking up now, ain't it?
Okay. Talk.
I probably have to leave and come back in because I can hear it staticking.
Go ahead. I can bring you back up.
Uh-uh.
Let me push you out.
It messing up.
All right, we're gonna bring her back up in just a moment when she comes back in, and just that's like unbelievable. And it doesn't surprise me though, because you hear so many stories about how the jailhouse is being run and um, what's their motive. And that's so freaking messed up that how they fudge the paperwork. Like, come on. And it kills me when people not understanding and they be like, so why do y'all feel this way? It's right here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, hold on. Let me turn
Okay.
my phone. Do not disturb. I
Oh, you had
forgot.
someone call or contact you?
Yep.
Oh
Somebody just called me.
no, you good.
So okay,
You good.
there it is.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, but yeah. So I come from a two parent household where, growing up, the man that I thought was my dad turned out not to be my biological dad, and I was later introduced to my dad. And I'll tell anybody, I wouldn't change my story for nothing in the world. I'm
Okay.
not mad about how I got here. I'm not mad about the situation. It has actually made me better
Okay.
because of the fact I was able to experience two different types of love. They love me. They both love me, but they love me two different types of ways.
Okay.
My the one I call my dad, he loves me with affection and words of affirmations and
Okay.
actions. He
Okay.
loves me totally different, and that's how, as far as my love language, that's how I need to be loved.
Okay.
My real daddy, and then I gotta say this. My dad, his mother was very strict, very stern. Like, that's how, some people grew up, back in the day, that's how they loved on their kids. They felt like, if they were hard on them and, then, and push them and,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for every child.
That
And I
doesn't.
feel like with that dad, that didn't work for him. So he chose to love me and my sister. He chose to love us differently.
Okay.
So he didn't want to be loved the way he was loved as a child. He loved his mom and his mom loved him, but he didn't want to be that love. So he showed us a different type of love.
Okay.
Then there's my real dad. Now that's the type of love he gives. He's stern.
Mm.
We may or may not say we love each other, like, but I know he loves me, but it ain't the
Okay.
same type of love.
Okay.
It is not the same type of action. However, I had to process it and learn that they were raised two different ways, but they saw things totally different.
Yeah.
So people, when you get to be an adult, when it comes to looking at being a father, a lot of people ask me like, "How are you able to talk to me?" It's because number one, I thank God I was raised by a man, but also even when it comes to women, you have to say as an adult, "Is this how I want to be loved?" And
Mm.
if this is the way that you want to be loved, then that's how you give love. But you have to make sure the person that's receiving that love, that's how
Mm.
they want to be loved. So
Right.
first acknowledge how you want to be loved. That's number one. How do you want to be loved? And then how do you want to give your love? You can't give love to everybody. So how do you want to love? And then anybody who has multiple kids, they will tell you if they are I ain't gonna say a good parent, but if they are a aware parent, each child does not respond to the same method. They
You are
don't.
so I can
They
I
don't.
can vouch for that because I have five and
Yay.
yeah, and even now all like four of them are adults and they're all at different stages. And because the way that I was raised, it was my like I hear stories about how my granddad was, and I can tell my dad didn't have my dad still now doesn't have any form of emotion. I know he
Hmm.
cares,
Yeah.
and I've tried to explain this to my brother and my sister. They're different, but for me, I needed that, I needed that physical touch, that hug, that some
Yeah.
even affirmation and whatnot. And definitely in my sister eyes, for her is like being a pump,
Hmm. Yeah.
soft, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny now, but back then it bothered me.
Definitely.
And so
Definitely.
I asked, when were you told that he wasn't your dad?
Um. So when I was 12.
When you was 12, okay.
Hmm.
Now
When I
did
was
it
12
hurt?
years old, it did.
Okay.
Very, very traumatizing because literally, I was at my grandmother's house. I answered the phone and he called and he was like, let me see your mom. And I'm like, she ain't here. Can I take a message? And he was like, it's your daddy. My daddy. No, my daddy's at work. Okay, sir. My dad's at work. So here I go running through the house. Mama, this man supposed to be my daddy. So of course when parents came home, we had to have that conversation and I boo-hooed. I boo-hooed and I was hurt and I was mad and I was upset and I didn't understand why, and things of that nature. And I'm to the point now that I've asked the questions that I needed to ask, that I made peace with. I tell people, you can't, your parents have, I even tell my daughter this, your parents have never been parents before. So you can't judge what they did. You can't
Yep.
judge what they do because each situation is different. And now
Mm.
that I'm grown, I am so thankful that I can have two dads. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? I feel like it's a blessing because nobody can tell me I don't believe in step this and step that. I don't believe in it. And what it did, it helped me when I got older. When I had got married, my ex, he had a son.
Okay.
So guess what? I knew how to love him with
Okay.
him not being my biological child because somebody had loved
Right.
me and I wasn't there. I wasn't his biological child. And
Right.
now me and my ex, we're divorced, but you can't tell me that that's not still my
It's
child.
it's still
I wish
okay.
somebody would say that's not my baby. He has a
Okay.
mama, but he got a bonus mama too,
Yeah.
who don't play
Okay.
about him, who does not play about him. He has a bonus mom who don't play about him just as much as his mom. He has a bonus mom he can call. You see what I'm saying? And when people ask me like, how many kids you have, I have two. I,
And
I have two.
you have the people that are so tuned in to my kids better not call anybody else mom or dad. And it's something that I've learned is that as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I
Right.
shouldn't feel threatened
Definitely.
because obviously, definitely like it's almost like going to school and we end up finding that teacher that we so love, we end up
Hmm.
calling them mom or dad because that's the type of presence that they bring to us.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing I feel with step parents and whatnot, or possibly even girlfriends or boyfriends. That person is showing that motherly or fatherly love, and there's no problem with it. I think the problem should come in if it's a forced issue. Just because
Right.
I married my wife, that don't mean her kids are like automatically should call me dad. If I
Definitely.
haven't
It's
I'll just say if I haven't been walking in the shoes to fill that title, then I shouldn't be looking for that. But then you have
you
people
shouldn't
that
require it.
automatically from the get go, they're going, "Are we married now? They could call me dad." Nah, you have to earn
No,
that respect. And
definitely.
so, I guess my other question would be is that I had asked um, about did that bother you? Okay, would you rather not have known, like, not even that question, do you think you would have been hurt worse now if you found out versus back then?
Yes. Only because of the fact, after I found out 3 years later, I had a sister who passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
You didn't
when
get a chance to even
I didn't
get
get a chance to spend
your
a lot
sibling.
of time with her, but I spent the amount of time that I needed to spend with her. You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? To develop the bond that even though she's gone, I can still feel her spirit. I can still feel her presence. And now she's been deceased, going on 22 years.
Okay.
And I can still, if I need to, I can still pull on her. And then she had a daughter. So,
Oh, okay.
I'm left with the niece,
You also say you're an
and
auntie, and
then
so you still have that presence to a degree.
right, I
Okay.
I still have that presence. So I know I would have been far more hurt now if I never had that opportunity to do that. And I
Okay.
tell people, everything happens for a reason. It was a reason why you go through what it is that you go through. Because now I'm able to help other people. Like, well, like, it ain't fair. My mama did it. My dad. No, don't stop blaming other people. Get what, ask the questions that you need to ask.
Yes.
But when you get ready to ask those questions, be okay sometimes with not receiving the answers that you think you should receive. And
Right.
then just move forward from it. Too many people want to live in the past, and you can't live in the past. If it didn't kill you, then you need to be moving forward. Okay? Do what you need to do, but stop harping on so much of the past. The past is the past. They did what they did. It happened. Nobody cannot make me want to change my story. I am here. I got here the way I got here, and I'm thankful to be here. So now I don't owe anything to nobody. I don't owe anything to my mom, my dad, my father. I don't owe nobody nothing. The only person I owe something to is God, because
Yeah.
He gave me this life. So how I live my life is my gift back to Him. He the only person I owe the explanation to. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think that with that question, do we really know what it means to be a father? At the end of the day, no, we don't. Um, that kind of opens the door to the other part where my second question is: has society paved the way for constant trauma in families by telling us what a dad should be? And I want to start off with what makes me feel that society has so much play into this is definitely in the black community. The black community, a man
Definitely.
only feels that a great dad is a dad that provides and protects. And for me, the only definition that I can bring up when someone talks about providing and protecting, providing is monetary value. The protection
Mm-hmm.
is just stopping someone from coming in the door or touching mom the wrong way or possibly making your child feel sad or whatnot. But the emotional connection is not there.
Right.
And that's what I lacked in the household.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from a two-parent household. And I tell people this. I envy, not now, but I just the story. I envy people that I heard the story about. I don't know who my dad is. I never seen my dad. I know I had to have a dad because it's the only way I've gotten here.
Right.
But for me, my dad's in the same house. I can literally go over there and touch him. I can
He
talk
wasn't
to him,
present.
but he was not there present emotionally for
Mm-hmm.
me. That's what
Right.
I needed. And I got a pushback from my siblings with, well, didn't he provide for you? Didn't he have a house? Didn't he make it available for a house for you to stay in? Yeah, but you do know that my dad needed a place to stay too. That's how I like it's
He live here too.
and there's no disrespect
He
to my
live
dad
here.
because I know my
Right.
dad loves me, but it took
Right.
me to become an adult to understand the same thing that you said. I can't be an adult constantly looking down at my parents and saying, well, my parents ain't provide this and my parents ain't provide that.
Right.
If I know this to be facts, I need to go and figure this out myself. I am an
Definitely.
adult now. I cannot constantly say the reason why I can't parent my kids is because my parents didn't parent me. But then I also
Yes.
have to find in my heart a way, a window, regardless of what they did, forgiving that
Mm-hmm.
their parents did not raise them to raise me as well.
Right.
And that's,
Definitely.
I think, a lot of us shortcome it,
Mm-hmm.
not understanding that, dang, why didn't my dad love me? Or why did my dad give me up like that? Or why did my mom leave me on the step? She wasn't raised the way that she
And
needed to be raised. And this could be even going as far as how you and me both were just talking about the difference between so many kids. If they come from a house of 8, 9 to 10, which a lot of our parents did, our grandparents did not take the time to figure out who Beth was, who Darren was, who Jacob was. They just said, these are the rules and regulation. And if you didn't do it, your butt got whipped, you know, all this and that, whatnot. So,
what's that? Now I'm gonna say I think it's more so of just it's not even how they were raised. Is everybody has their own interpretation on certain things,
you
and
know,
then they take that with them. Because some people can be taught values, like you can tell your child, "Don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove, don't touch the stove," and some kids just gotta touch that stove in order to know that it was hot. So I think it's just that you're giving this, but it's just how you interpret it, and then you also have to add in the factors of the people that you come in contact with on a
Yes.
constant basis. When my child goes to school, since she has been in kindergarten, we have a phrase. When she leave here, I say, hey, what I tell you, it's change the mother folk kids. Don't let the mother folk kids change you. And I
Yeah.
said just that country because I want her to fully understand. You're gonna go out there in the world. You're gonna meet some kids. They not raised the same. The biggest lesson I learned from college: everybody ain't raised the same.
Everybody's not.
Everybody's not raised the same. So what you have to do is, as a parent, is one, pray for your children, but two, let them know that what I have instilled in you is the right way. It's not the only way, but this is the best way for you. Now, what you go out and what you pick up, you need to think for yourself. You got to think for yourself. Should I do what it is my parents has taught me? On the inside, does this feel right? Does this feel wrong? You got to think for yourself. I'm to the point now, I tell my daughter and my nephew, I'm no longer here to tell you this, that, and the third. I'm here to guide you through life. You need
Yep.
to think,
Yes.
how does this feel on the inside? Do this feel right? Do this feel wrong? Because if you think about it, everything we need is naturally in us.
Yep.
Like you can feel fear. Like you can feel like when if you get your body, your DNA is encrypted enough. If you cut your hand, you go to bleeding. That you don't even have to apply a band-aid. You can just clean it up and it'll heal itself. You
Yes.
don't have to get you see what I'm saying? If the cut is light enough, if it's deep enough, you gotta go get some stitches.
Yes.
But either way, it's gonna heal itself. Inside of you tells you right from wrong. If you sit
Yep.
here and you feeling you like, this little ill feeling, okay, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? So I think when it goes back to parenting, sometimes you need to take the lessons that your parents have given you, but you got to say, okay, is this really working?
Mm.
Because times do change. So you got to
Times
ask yourself,
change. Yep.
okay, how is this going? How is this working with this child, or with this situation? And you said something earlier that I want to pull back on that was so powerful, that another reason why I feel like when it comes to fathers is we are most people are village kids. And what I mean by that is, it takes a
Takes a
community to
village to
raise a
raise. Yeah.
child.
Uh huh.
So at different points in your life, you will need different people to teach you different things. So your parents don't always have all the answers. They don't always have, for each scenario, for each thing. They don't have it all. Like you say, you may encounter a teacher who teaches you this, and your
Yep.
parent can give you that at that moment, at that time. So you have to be opening to, learning from positive people. Not and then it's some street people out there that you're gonna learn some stuff from too. You're gonna
Yeah.
pick some stuff up,
Yep.
but you have to learn when to pick it up and when to put it down.
Yeah. Let's see. So let me go over here to some of these comments here, which we had Jalissa that agreed with some of, if not most of the things that you stated. Um, I told someone this the other day. You should be classified under who your mother. You should be classified under who your mother is. Pretty much going back to the prison statements that you were referring to earlier.
Right.
Um, she also agreed with the bonus parents are essential.
Essential.
Definitely.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't have to be because your parents divorced. You can still have your parents that are married is like the teachers, the best
Right.
friend, mom or dad, actually become
Mm-hmm.
other parents. And not all of them, but majority of the time, your true friend, their mom becomes your mom. Is I've never
Right.
seen it different than that. Uh, Miss Evelyn says, yes, each child is very different even under the same parent. Yes.
Definitely.
Um, so I move into the change in narrative because I definitely want to jump into your book. Because I really feel when it comes to being a man, there are only so many things that fuel us. And if it's not money, sex, power, um, And I think those are just superficial. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that we can have at any given time. And we drop the ball on having that emotional connection with our family, whether it's our wife,
Definitely.
whether it's our kids, heck, all the way down to our pets, you know,
To self.
um, school, society, life, the government is basically just telling us work, 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 work. And our value is about the number on that dollar sign that we bring in on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And if that dollar sign is not at a high point, then our value sucks.
Right.
And so how do we change this? And that was one thing that stuck out to me. Definitely in the black community versus the white community. Their kids are learning how to hunt at age 2 and 3.
Things we used to
Whereas,
do.
huh?
Things we used to do.
Yes, exactly. What we don't do anymore, what we're teaching our kids is, and that's something that I've told my mom when I was young that she hurt me with. And, she comes to apologize about it. And I tell her it's okay now. Back then, thing is you didn't know. But I had a dream. And my mom would always tell me, baby, you can be anything you want to be. And it was one day I said, hey, mom, I want to try and go out and get this particular job. And she was like, don't you think you'd be better off doing that assembly line at this particular job that makes a lot of money? Because when you got 2 kids already, and
Mm-hmm.
that just floored me because I'm like,
Right.
dang, what happened to
I can be
I
anything
can
I want.
be anything?
Right.
Not that I have kids. So you basically telling me that I have to just, and I took that, and that's how my life shifted. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that all that other stuff that I thought about, I had to push it over, and I just had to work. And I had odd ends jobs, change job because I couldn't find anything that I like doing. And that's one thing that I learned about working. If it's not something that you enjoy
You
doing, you're
enjoy?
not going to do it well.
Definitely. Yeah,
You're not. And I was,
definitely.
and folks look at me and they dogged me for years. You have not kept the job for XYZ amount of years. And there was one job that had a form of assembly line that I kind of cared about. And I was on my second year. I was so proud of myself because I had broken that. I'm not even gonna call it a freaking curse or anything, but had broken that stigma of me not working long enough to say that, hey, I've been on a job longer than 3 months or whatnot, because it seemed like I was just going, that's how my life was
Job,
headed.
job.
Yeah. And so I go back to how can we change that? As a black community, why aren't we really sitting down? I get you want your child to possibly be an athlete or a successful dance and all. And again, if that's their dream, I feel like you push all that you can into it. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But if they come to
Definitely.
you and it's like, hey, I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. I want to be the best checker player. You'd be very surprised. There are so many tournaments out here for checkers,
They pay
chess,
money.
that pays money.
Yeah.
And, we fall short on that. Why aren't we teaching our kids how to hunt anymore? If they
Mm-hmm.
stranded, some of these kids nowadays, they don't even know how to wash clothes. They don't know how to cook.
Definitely. Yeah. They they fresh out of luck. They fresh out of luck. I think it kind of goes to the narrative of I just told somebody the other day because they my first love, they my first passion. I talk to kids all day, every day. But it goes to the narrative of we are like literally in the age of enlightenment. So we are starting to see the results of, we saw the age where because you can see where the black father was weeded out the family.
Mm-hmm.
If you just watch, the different type of epidemics when they had the crack epidemic,
Yep.
and they was putting crack into the community, and then they started giving welfare and assistance, so they started breaking down the black family. I was blessed enough who to go to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, you know um to the Lorena Hotel where Dr. Martin Luther King, where he took his last breath at.
Okay.
And that museum inside there, they talk about the slavery, and then they start doing his history. But also along the way, they started talking about a lot of Black entrepreneurs that you never knew anything about.
Mm.
And over time, over research, I've learned that we were so powerful. As knowledge is starting to come forth now, that we was inventors, we invented so much, and
Yes.
they were afraid of that.
Yes.
So they started breaking us down. You see what I'm saying? They started breaking us down. They introduced the crack, but they messed up with crack because white people started getting hold of crack. So then it was a problem. So then,
Yep.
then you want to start incarcerating, Black males to pull them out of the household.
Mm-hmm.
Then you started getting women welfare because now they don't have the same amount of funds. So now they got to feed these kids.
Yep.
But you don't have any type of assistance for low income families to keep them together.
Nope.
If a male standing in this house, then you get kicked out.
Yep.
So you
You
don't
cannot get
want
food
family.
stamps, so what you make too much money.
Nope. You don't
Yep.
want families together. You see what I'm saying? So then the cycle, it just continues and continues. Then you have created this generation of this child support. And I tell people, if you need child support, you get child support. But if you do not need, if you I ain't saying need, if you are adult enough to communicate, do not utilize that system. Because how can a child support system be created where now they can take your license, now they can incarcerate you for not paying? See, now they putting you back in the system. They do not want this Black dynamic family back together because we were entrepreneurs. You see what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
created things when we are a unit. When we are a unit, so they don't want that. So over time, just like I look at the fact, I told somebody the other day for Father's Day, they created the LGBT community, but they put it in the month of June. You got 11 other months. Why did you pick the month of June? Why
Yep.
you couldn't pick August? Why you couldn't? Ain't that going on in August now?
That's
Something we
almost
got to
like
Columbus
Juneteenth.
Day.
What Juneteenth was on is on the same day Father's Day, right?
Yeah, where it fell on the 19th, but that was actually history.
Yeah.
So this year it just fell. This year just so happened to be on the same day. But
Gotcha.
that was history. But why did you put that? So you gave us something, but you tried to put something over it to overpower it. You got all these other months that you could have put certain things in. So why did you target this specific month? You just want to keep knocking down fathers,
Yep.
especially Black fathers, or you just want to keep knocking it down. So I feel like as us as a people, if we're going to the age of enlightenment, when we're dealing with our kids, like the things that you say that you wish your mother had of not said to you, they did the best they could back then because that's what they thought was best. They had been
Right.
conditioned that you go to school, you get an education, because
Yep.
back then that was the only way you can get these high paying jobs.
Yes.
So now what we have to do is we have to show our kids you can be an entrepreneur while you're in high school. My daughter asked
Yes.
me, Mama, why I gotta go to school?
Yeah.
This she was like, this is not what's up. I said the government requires you to go to high school.
Yeah.
So I won't go to jail. So this is what we're gonna do. If you
Yes.
go ahead and start working and running your businesses now, when they release you from high school, guess
You,
what?
yeah. You
You'll
just
have
keep
money.
going.
You
Yeah.
you
And
don't have to do what they do.
we talk about that a lot with our kids. Is like is you just and their mom constantly tells them is no you just take it in and you regurgitate it out. That's all. It ain't that you got to go to college. If you want to go to college, you can go to college. But if you don't want to, you still got to do something. But as of right now, school is mandatory, unfortunately, and you have to go ahead and do it. And I've stated this: our public school system is just really set up for our kids all the way to us, to our parents, so on and so on, to get us ready to work in the corporate jobs, to keep corporate going. And I think the pandemic opened the door to people and allowed them to see that
Mm-hmm.
I do not have to work for you. And so
Mm-hmm.
we in a recession, but we're not. The only reason that we're in a recession is because people are not working for these jobs anymore.
Right. It's finally, it's the age of enlightenment that they're seeing that, hey, I can create this stuff for myself. I can
Mm-hmm.
do this for myself. So that's why I'm teaching my child, do this now. While they require you to go to school, create your stuff now. So
Yeah.
therefore, you don't have to be subject to being on somebody's job. And then we also have to look at the fact that I tell people when you and people don't, this is a conversation people are not ready for and they don't want to hear, but people get married for the wrong reasons. People
Ah.
get in relationships with people for the wrong reasons. And that is a whole nother door. That is a whole nother story for another
We
day.
got some of that this
But
season too. So if you want me to point you over to those conversations too, you come on as well. Cause it
no, because
it is. They say I go so it just even hits hard with being a father because not only should a father be that first male figure, not only for his daughter, but for his son as well. And we changed this as regardless if you're with their mom, their actual mom, or you with stepmom, girlfriend, or whatever, that male should be showing both of his kids, even if he has just one child, whatever the sex may be of the child or the kids, you should be showing them how to respect the other partner and showing that it's okay. You don't always have to be this uptight, strong individual because just being strong and not allowing um, emotions to come beyond you is doesn't mean that you are a strong provider. Because there are so many men out there right now that are these alpha male men that are just beyond me. It just don't make no sense how I'm gonna go ahead and say idiotic they are, toxic,
mhm,
and how
yeah.
you sit and you go and you talk about a woman should know her place. Um, my woman place is beside me, you know,
Oh wait.
and whatever the case may be, not the case or the situation that occurs, we both are head of household because the situation that may occur, I may not be the best at solving that problem, but she
Mhm.
is. So that means I should be
Right.
man enough to step back and allow her to take care of her business because if I do it, I'm gonna mess
Gonna
something up.
mess up. Right. But
So
it's that's that conversation that you know that you have to have. And my biggest thing that I hate to see nowadays, and I tell them until more men push the system and push the system will never change.
nope.
I speak to so many men who they have their kids, and the mom, she's out doing whatever you want to do, and they don't want to put them on child support, or they was like, as long as I got my kids, I'm fine. And I said, I know that's understandable, and because they don't want to cause hurt or harm to her. I was like, but until more men start pushing against the system, that it's amazing that just because a woman has a child, women automatically get the first right, and
Yep.
men have to go through so much in order to get their kids. And and
Yep.
even men who I've seen several cases where just trying to provide resources to men who find out kids are not theirs later on,
Yep.
and and then they still have to pay for those kids
Yep.
financially, and
Yep.
but then they still can't see those kids.
Nope.
So you are it's something has to be done. And until we start getting these conversations, start moving forward and start pushing against the system, it's going to be another way where they keep the black family separated. It's going to be another way, because now you're breeding all these generations that's saying, oh, I don't need no man. I made this, I made XYZ. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. You
Yeah.
right. You may not need a man, but your children do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was my other thing too. How else we can change that? Where again, a dad does not have to be an actual dad. A dad can be a positive
Right.
male role model, even a
A
brother,
uncle,
a
cousin.
cousin, an older cousin, an uncle, like he was, yeah. And finding that is even a mentor. I just think
Right.
sometimes we don't work hard enough. We constantly say, oh, there are not enough good men out there, or there are not enough good women, or there's not enough this. And I think we don't take enough responsibility of saying that we're not, one, looking in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
two, not looking hard enough, and we're just settling. And I can go ahead and admit that I was one of those dudes that when I hear a woman turn off a checklist and you have all these checklists, I'm like, dang, that's just too much. But now I understand. Now, some I can to this day say that shouldn't be on there because some
Right.
stuff, and it's each his own, but some stuff is just straight out, just yeah. But now I get it. Your boundaries, your what you need
Right.
specifically to make the relationship work for you. I definitely get it. Miss Evelyn says that yes, men have to speak up. In connection, women have to stop using children as leverage to make him have a relationship with her. I just post this on Facebook. Men need to
Definitely.
stop. I can't remember what I said. Dang it. It boils down to both people need to stop sitting up here and using sex, knowing that sex can cause kids,
Mhm.
as a form of getting what they want, but just kids in general, because you have a lot of women that'll sit and say, I'm finna catch him. And how I catch him is he gonna be in my life if I have a child with him. And watch that man leave and disappear and don't see no
Yeah. And then, but I also tell people, that right there also as well is something that we have been dealing with for generations. How many times somebody great granddaddy done had a whole family over here and a
more.
whole family over here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he done had 12 kids. Man, somebody died and you go to the funeral, you be like,
You
who
try
all
to
these kids?
Yeah.
Who these so
or
many?
you've been or
Hey,
you've
if
been
I be
talking to
one
this
more
person and
vicious,
you didn't even know that person was your cousin. Gossip.
oh, I'm just saying. So I think we also have to be aware that there is some trauma that comes with that,
Yeah.
that stems from generation to generation. And I think we have to start having the conversations when we're getting into these relationships, but being specific about what it is that we want. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And start verbalizing, being adults enough that we can verbalize,
Yeah.
what it is I want, or don't, or saying I don't know. A lot of people, if they take the time to do the work on themselves,
Yeah.
then they'll be better able to attract the person that's for them.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not taking the time to do the work for yourself, you're hopping in from one relationship to the next, then you'll never know what it looks like. And that comes with men or women,
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah. So your book. Let's talk about your book. Do you have a copy in front of you?
Of course.
ah, yes. Look at that little nice art on this book. I saw a couple of folks walking around with that T-shirt on, so I was so proud and happy for you. Now, I don't know about y'all. As soon as she get off here, I'm cash apping her my funds so that she can bring me my book that I was supposed to be getting last year, but don't tell nobody. Just said this live.
Hey,
But
you and your wife too busy hustling the cheesecake that I am so thankful I was strong enough. Oh, I was like, Lord, give me, as soon as I saw you, I said, Lord, give me the strength. Give me the strength. Because that cheesecake is so good. And, I,
So,
and
tell
I
us a
need
little
to come
bit
back
about
up
your
as well.
title and what is your book about?
All right, so it is a 31-day affirmation journal called a King's Mindset. So what it is, every day is going to give you a scripture, and then it's going to give you a text, and then it's going to give you an affirmation, and then it's going to teach you how to write your own affirmation. So I tell people, I always ask the question, who knows you better than anybody on this earth besides your spouse, your wife, who knows you better than anybody?
Yeah, you.
Nobody but you.
You.
So this gives you the time to sit down and deal with, to get in alignment with the plan that God has for you. So
Right.
it lets you personally, it lets men personally deal with, and women by it too, deal with past hurts, past pains, and past trauma, and then journal, write it out. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain. So it allows people to sit there and ask themselves the question. So if they do the work and do the work, it's almost like a self-help book.
Okay.
If they do the work, then by the time you finish the 31 days, then you should definitely see a change in your thought process. You see what I'm saying? For the better and not for the worse. But it will also give you the knowledge and the wisdom that you need maybe to go have some of those conversations.
Okay.
And a lot of people, when it comes to men, they're like, okay, Sasha, how are you able to help me? You a woman. Simple, because I didn't spend the last 12 years helping men. Simple. And I'll tell anybody, I self sabotage myself before anybody else could self sabotage me.
Yeah.
Literally, God had to put me on my deathbed to make me write this,
Okay.
because I was like, no man don't want to hear what a woman got to say. I was like, I can't do this. I came up with all these excuses
Yeah.
of why I couldn't do this, but this is what I have been called to do. It's a platform that men need. It's something that's needed in our community for our black men. I'm always encouraging women to, if you are married or have a significant other or have fathers, uncles, I always encourage them, because you never know how smaller words can change someone's day. That's what it is. So go to my website. It's www.peoplemovingforward.today. And you can order it from Amazon, or you can get a copy directly from me if you want an autograph copy.
Okay.
I
Wait.
am
Wait. Wait.
still
Wait. You say www dot
people moving forward today.
people moving forward. Uh huh. .com.
Today. Today.
Oh, I'm being too fast.
Yeah,
Today.
you got to move forward today. You got to move forward right now,
All
not
right.
later. You got
So
to do this now.
I am putting this in the description as well as placing it in the comments here. So if anybody's watching this now or later watching this, it's going to be in the description, both on um, the Sofa Talk page, and I just shared it to my page as well. Um, and is there anywhere else that we can find you, Miss Push?
Well, so I also have that, and then we also now have the men's beard oil.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. I
all
use that too.
natural. It's all natural, so that's on the website as well. I also do coaching. I do coaching. I have a 6-week coaching program. So you can find me on the website. You can find me on social media at People Moving Forward. On all social media, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything.
Okay. So normally at the end of the show, I ask there's any final words that you would like to push out. But before I ask that question, if you could, because there are a lot of people in your situation, whereas not knowing during like right now, or has just recently found out that their parent is not their actual parent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are there any words that you can provide to either the parent and the child? Um, just because I could, that is a hard thing. The only reason why I say it is because I'm that dad that has a child that has my name. I know that child wasn't mine. I promised to take care of that child.
Mm-hmm.
But me and that parent separated. During separation, I ended up having to go. I filed child support myself, but they did a blood test, and so I only end up uh, paid for two, basically. And so, hands down, this person is toxic. My kids are adults now. The last one, the one that has my name, she just graduated. My actual two kids graduated the the 2 years prior to her, one after another. But I was taking care of her for a little bit, but then the toxicity of her basically just disrupt everything. And I'm trying to get in contact.
Right.
I'm in contact with my kids, but it's hard because it's like,
Challenging.
yeah, cause challenging. There you go. Thank you. Challenging because now I'm like, y'all are adults now, and I had one child tell me that no one is not going to stop me from having a relationship with you, but that someone is still is. And so I had to explain to her, hey, you want me to have a relationship with you face to face, but I can't if you can't even tell your mom that you're talking to me.
What's
So there's that other child that
mm-hmm,
hates me,
mm-hmm,
and there's nothing I can do about it because it's what mom has
right,
said, even though I'm not her dad. So
right.
it's, it happens. It's something that's going
Right.
on now, and I mean, my wife talks about that, where you have a man that comes in the picture and is eager to take responsibility for a child. Is it
Mm-hmm.
really good when a child is young to say, you know what, I'm going to be that child's dad, and I'm going to be dad, I'm going to be dad, I'm going to be dad, and then now you're faced with later on down the line to say, oh no, I still love you as dad, but I'm not your dad. So is it like, should you not say I'm dad until that child is old enough to say, hey, XYZ has been in my life for so long, and I
Mm-hmm.
do feel that I can call him dad, or he is my dad, so I'm going to call him dad?
I honestly and truly believe that there is never a right time. There's never
Yeah.
a perfect age. There's never, whether it's adult, whether they're small. I truly, honestly believe that it's never. But I honestly and truly believe that it needs to be said.
Okay.
It needs to be told because no matter what, you have to in order to heal, you first got to start with it in order to
Okay.
move forward. So if you never start with it, then you're holding it in, and you can't get the healing that you need, and the child can get the healing that they need because nobody don't want to have the conversation. Everybody
Right.
want to keep this swept under the rug, and in the end it's not fair to the child. Now what I do say first to the parent, what I would say to the parent is, if you can't bring yourself to this, seek some professional help, seek some counseling. You see what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to deal with the emotional trauma and the whereabout. I'll just be transparent and honest. This was the very first year that I posted both of my dads together for Father's Day.
Wow. Okay.
One main reason was, I have in the past I posted them, but I do separate posts.
Right.
I had started doing separate posts. Number one, I don't do social media like that anyway. But
Okay.
I was posting them separately. I wouldn't put them in the same post. One reason was I didn't want to hurt my mom. I didn't want my mama to feel some type of way. You see what
Mm.
I'm saying? That me putting her out there like this because of what had the situation, what had happened. But I had to realize. First, I'm gonna be honest. I had to pray about it. I had Jesus, Amen. I need you, but I had to realize that I love me. I love me enough to love every part of my story, the good, the
The bad,
bad, the ugly.
ugly.
I love me so much that I can't worry about them. So the first thing I did was, even before I put it out there and I talked about certain things, is I had a conversation with my mama, and I talked to her about it, and I wanted to get her take and her feel on it before I put it on, social media. You see what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
needed her to know that I love you regardless.
You're right.
I thank God you didn't have an abortion. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I am
Yeah.
here. Nobody can, and I think a lot of people let other people put their story on them, let them put their own perceptions off on them. That, oh, your situation like this. No, I'm here. God made me on purpose. Okay? So if you have a problem with the way I got here, if you have a problem with the situation, there's something you need to deal with, because I'm okay with me. I
Right.
love me. I love me enough. So then I didn't want my dad to be hurt because this is my daddy. You see what I'm saying? This is a man who I carry his last name. I didn't want him to be hurt. But I had to finally realize that this is more so for me than anything. This is my story. This is my transparency. This is how I had to deal with this. This is how I had to get over with this. And other people need to know this. They need to know this side of me. They need to know this about me, because they can look at me and say, okay, if Tasha got through it, I can too. I need to know, how did she get past this? Because this is something that happens in the community.
Yeah.
It's something that happens. So it's something that we do need to talk about.
Yeah.
And the moment that you start talking about it, the moment that you can start fearing yourself, you got to
Mm.
stop so much focusing on what people gonna say and start
Yep.
focusing on what you need to say. So
Yeah.
then too, I will also say to, to the parent, still love on that child.
Yeah.
I know even what you said in your situation that you can't fully have a relationship because see, she's still trying to process. I want my daddy, but I don't want to hurt my mama. She's
Yep.
still in the middle
That's
of that
exactly what.
process.
That's exactly
You
what's
see what
it.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, what you, my suggestion would be to you, my advice is still love on her, still contact her, still reach out to her, never pull back, keep pushing, allow her the space that she needs. But I don't care if ain't nothing but text message, let her know that she's loved. Even the child that doesn't want to talk to you, don't want to be bothered,
I can't even
still.
contact that. That again, mom has all of that stuff on lock, so I can't. It's
So this, so this is what you do. Just and people don't, just like we speak things into existence, the
Mhm.
universe comes. If that's something that you want, you still talk to them. You just talk to them in the universe. It's gonna come out. I truly believe in the boomerang theory. You know, you got a boomerang.
Oh yes,
What
I
you
do too.
throw
It
out,
comes back. Yeah, it comes back,
it
regardless how you
comes
want to look
back.
at it. Yeah, yeah, it comes back.
That people call it karma, they call it whatever it is. So I
Yes.
tell people,
Yep.
whatever it is that you want, even if you yearn for a relationship, just keep putting it out there. Keep speaking life over that child because it's a bond, it's a connection. The saddest but the biggest thing I have learned since 2016, I literally lost about what people experienced for COVID. My family experienced that in 2016, family passing away just like this, left and right. We experienced that in 2016. And but through that process, the main thing I learned, if you're connected to people, if you develop a bond with people, no matter, even if y'all can't talk, even if y'all can't call each other, y'all will pull on each other.
Yeah.
Y'all will feel each other. So I
Yeah.
tell people, still speak life over that child, still speak out about that child, and just allow that child the process to go through the pain, to go through the hurt, to go through the upset, the madness, the guilt, the betrayal. Allow that child to feel all those emotions and be okay with being able to receive how the child, because one day the child might yell, and my child might go out, the child might come at you hard, but be okay, be mentally prepared for that. You see what I'm saying? Most people just want it to be fixed, and it be all lovely, dovey, and roses, and
Yeah.
smell good, but it don't always happen that way. It doesn't always come off that way. So you have to be okay with that. And then the last thing I will always tell anybody is never be afraid to have these conversations, because what you don't want to happen is to be standing in that casket and saying, what if I had an ex? I wish I could have. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So always, and then if you have to practice with somebody else, hey man, let me just use you. You see what I'm saying? Let me just talk to you and ask you a question. You
Yeah.
know, will you pretend with me? Because this is what I need to do before I actually go do this. But don't be so afraid that you don't never ask, because you will never heal. You will be 40 and 50, you'll be 60. I've seen 70 and 80-year-old adults dealing
I,
with things that they wish they had to talk to their mama and daddy about when
whew,
they was, 50 years old. So
my
my
dad's sitting
thing
at
is,
that is sitting in that he's sitting right in that mess right now.
see what I'm saying?
And all
So
his
my
parents and the
thing,
people that he need to talk to are dead. So
so that's why I encourage, that's why I had to learn. It's so important for me to share my story.
yeah.
Is because people need to hear. You need to have those conversations. And it took someone else talking to me, letting me know, hey Tasha, you need to ask these questions, because
Yeah.
it had happened to them. So if they never shared their story with me, then I wouldn't be able to share my story with other people. So people have to understand your story will free somebody. And I told,
Yes.
when I posted that picture on Father's Day, when I posted both of my dads together, I didn't care what nobody thought. They both love me, even though they love me totally different. They both love me, and I felt like they both deserve to be celebrated on Father's Day.
Yeah. Okay. And I like guys, everything that she stated, regardless of some of it, if not most of it was pointed at me, that goes with any dad that's
Mm-mm.
in, my situation. Um how do we change this? We just really open our minds. We open up to stop closing ourselves off to, thinking that this is how it's supposed to be. Settling not looking legally for answers as well, because I can say that happened with me with a whole bunch of my kids where I didn't know anything legally, and people were able to just stump on me about my kids. And the law is not friendly when it comes down to men and their rights with their kids. And it's no offense to women, but some women can be very nasty when it comes down to those men that are
Right.
really trying to be there for their kids versus the men that are not. It's like
Definitely.
I don't know, but those that are really seriously trying to be there, don't stop. Basically, like she said, um,
No.
keep praying over the fact that things would change, because you do have to understand that at some point they are going to get older. At some point they
Mm-hmm.
are going to have to separate from their mom. Hopefully it's nothing drastic or sad or anything, but as an adult, kids go off, and so that may open a door. And regardless, I had to be ready when they started contacting me, like, why this, why that, why this, and I just
Right.
basically had to tell my truth. And sometimes even telling your truth, that doesn't mean that everything's all good and dandy, that they're just gonna fall in your lap all easy. So
Right.
that's where I'm at right now. I've told my truth, and which they've already kind of knew, but um, it's still that stage of,
Process.
yeah, that process. So
Yeah.
we're going to call it a night, guys. I definitely enjoyed you, Miss Push, and I'm so happy that you were able to come on. I am a true believer of things happen for a reason, and I was told to hit you when I did, and I'm glad I did. So, hey, this is my calling, and God has what I've asked for this, and I've ran from it for years, and I'm finally wide open, and so he places me where I need to be at the time that I need to be in, and so I'm grateful for that, and I do honor that I was able to put you in a position to where you can speak a little bit more about what you're doing too. Because again, I am proud of you and that book, because guys, you'll be very surprised what a woman can tell you. Never
Right.
shut down the opportunity to learn something from a woman, because you do have to believe that you had a mom or you have a mom, and your mom at some
Mm-hmm.
point did explain, did teach, did go through the process of raising. So there's nothing wrong with your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, your cousin, which is a female, or a best female friend to say, hey, guy, I got this information for you.
Right.
Listen. And it's even vice versa with women. It's okay. Sometimes we can be kind of strong headed, slow, idiotic.
No, no, no. It's just it sometimes it's the nature. But before we go,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
gotta let me give you your accolades. You have got to. You will not let me get off this live and not give you your accolades.
Oh, come
Because I
on,
gotta
baby.
tell you, I gotta tell you, I appreciate you. From the day I met you in the barbershop, like that was so amazing, so profound. You were just sitting there just speaking your truth. You were just sitting there being your authentic self. So because you allowed you to do that, that allowed me to be able to connect to you. So that is a prime example of never stop letting your light shine. And then I had the amazing pleasure of meeting you and your wife. Like y'all are a dynamic duo. So I gotta say big ups to you. I gotta give y'all flowers while y'all are here. I thank y'all for this platform that y'all created for relationships, for couples, for conversations, because this is what moves the needle forward. So I appreciate y'all so much for doing this and then being consistent with it. Oh my God. People don't
Stop. There you go. You
understand
cry.
consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. So y'all have been dedicated to this, sun up, sundown. So my hat is off to y'all. I know this is just the beginning for you all. It's starting and it's taking off, but I see y'all on television. I see y'all on different platforms. I see y'all doing, this couples ministry. So I am so thankful to have met y'all, to be connected to you, to walked in the barber shop that day to get my hair done. Like that to me, you never I'll never knock small beginnings. You can't knock small beginnings because that was the catalyst to get this connection, to get this going, to help somebody else. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am truly, truly, truly thankful for you and for your wife.
Well, thank you. I was not expecting that, so I really appreciate it. That really touched me. Yeah. I I'm just living in my purpose, and it feels good to
Yes.
do so.
Come on
And
now. I love it.
um, and I really feel as though my baking has nothing to do with monetary value. Is more of the connection to the people that I am talking to more than anything. And it's just the monetary value is the extra plus sign, because I've touched and I've been told that I've blessed so many people, and that's what it's all about for me. So I thank you. Seriously, I do.
Yes, definitely. I thank you. And see, look, you made me being out there in that sweat and that heat. See, it was for us to reconnect.
It was coming. It was coming. It just was a time. And again, like I say, when I get that moment of, hey, it's time to move, I try my best to move when I am
And be
told to.
obedient.
And so far, I feel as though I've been doing a great job. And you pretty much kind of put a check mark in that. So again, I really I needed that, and I thank you for that.
No problem. I thank you for having me. So, hey, y'all,
Sure.
make sure I go get this book. This oil.
Yes, yes. Please get this book. I'm finna actually message me your cash app so I can send it in the total.
Okay.
All
Awesome.
righty, and hopefully we can get you on Saturdays too. As soon as she contacts you, yeah, just basically let her know. I kind of hit her up a little bit on what was going on. So, um, guys, I totally appreciate it. Please share this. Great information. Next week is before I leave is going to be Miss Whitney, and we're going to be going to her book as well, which again, she always beats me upside my head with the stuff that she talks about. Another great author with books, conversation and communication about men and women. So definitely, guys, same bat time, same bat channel, 8 o'clock. See you there. Goodbye. Thank you, Miss Push. I
Love
enjoyed you.
you. Love you guys.
All right. Bye. See you guys later. Oh my God, man. I was trying not to cry. So I hope you guys catch us next week. Y'all have a great one.